Transformers isn't really known for being cute. I mean, don't get me wrong, there totally are cute moments in the history of the franchise, but being primarily a war story, I think most people think of Optimus Prime executing that old man when they think of Transformers. But there is one super adorable section of the Transformers universe, which are called Q Transformers. These super deformed chibi Transformers actually have roots that go all the way back to Generation 1, aka the beginning of the Transformers toy line. So let's get into the history of the cutest Transformers toy line. What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and getting Q Transformers is difficult because they're exclusive to Japan. But thankfully today's sponsor, JP Fans, makes obtaining these little oddballs super simple. JP Fans is a website that lets you order from Japanese online retailers, like Mercari, Amazon, and Surugaya. I love using Mercari because you can find amazing deals. For instance, I got 5 Q Transformers for $74. That's about $15 per toy, which is an amazing price when you consider they sell them for $25 to $40 imported here in America. The service JP Fans offers is super simple. You make an order and the items are sent to the JP Fans warehouse, where they can store your products for up to 60 days. So you can bundle multiple orders if you want. When you're ready, just pay the international shipping fee, and they'll send your products off. Keep in mind that international shipping is expensive, but if you sign up with my link below, you'll get some coupons. And if you redeem code DUMBJAKE, you'll get a 20% shipping discount coupon, which is huge. Thanks to JP Fans. Now let's talk toys. Before we can talk about Q Transformers, we have to discuss Choro-Q, which is a Japanese brand of toy cars by Takara. They feature a super deformed style with exaggerated proportions. They're super cute and were super popular, having launched in 1978 and being brought to America in 1981 as penny racers. These goofy little cars were a hit. They had pullback motors and could zip around, and if you put a penny in the slot on the back of the car, they would pop wheelies. So yeah, these things became a household name pretty fast. And when Takara decided to do their micro-change toy line, which featured everyday objects that transformed into robots, Choro-Q cars were a natural choice, both because they were so common as toys, and because Takara owned both brands. So the Mini Car Robo series was released, featuring Choro-Q cars that could actually transform. As you might have guessed, these toys would be turned into Bumblebee and Cliffjumper for the Transformers toy line, which is why they look so weird compared to every other vehicle. It's also why the SS-86 Bumblebee transforms into a car that looks like this, which is part of the reason I love this mold so much. The next time Choro-Q and the Transformers would cross over was in 2001. The Transformers would join the Choro-Q Robo line, which had also crossed over with several other brands. 3 figures would be released, the first being Optimus, or Convoy as he's known in Japan. These toys are slightly larger than the regular Choro-Q cars. Convoy transforms into his truck and trailer combo, and sports a chunky robot mode. Just like normal Choro-Q figures, he has a pullback motor. Megatron also received a toy in this line. He transforms into his traditional gun mode, which is really funny. And what's even funnier is that Megatron still has a pullback motor. Imagine a gun just flying at you across the floor like a rat. Finally, Rodimus got a figure, transforming into his classic Space Winnebago mode. The next Choro-Q Transformers collab would happen in 2014, and this line is the main topic of today's video. Released as a part of Transformers' 30th anniversary, the Q Transformers toy line also had a tie-in mobile game and cartoon. Bizarrely, the game and cartoon are themed around the mystery of Convoy, one of the oldest Transformers games ever. It was released on the Famicom, aka the original Japanese version of the NES. The game was never brought to the US, and it is notoriously terrible. The angry video game nerd even talked about it back in the day. For some reason, the mobile game is based on Mystery of Convoy, with the exact same gameplay which made the original so hated. This is sort of a tongue-in-cheek thing though. We know this because of the cartoon, which has a surprisingly badass 3D animated intro by the way. What's funny is the show itself is actually an incredibly simple flash animated cartoon. Each episode is about 3 minutes long, and starts with Bumblebee, Optimus, and Lockdown discussing the Mystery of Convoy mobile game. I have to say this little cartoon is hilarious. First of all, this lineup of characters is a bit bizarre, but the inclusion of Lockdown is due to the then recent Age of Extinction film, though his colors invoke his original animated form. The dialogue between the characters is so funny. They outright talk about how the Mystery of Convoy games suck, including the mobile game, as well as the reason they exist being a marketing idea to get more casual fans interested. It's really really meta and funny. The dialogue also feels very casual, almost like the way they record Bob's Burgers. The characters often burst out laughing at each other, and the flow of conversation feels so natural. The whole thing is translated on YouTube, so I highly recommend it. I'll have a link to it below. But let's finally discuss the toy line itself. Released in 2014, this toy line had over 40 figures over different waves and series. This line featured vehicle modes much closer to the actual Choro-Q cars. Many of the figures have almost the exact same transformation scheme. The feet come from the bottom of the hood, the back of the car becomes the arms, and the head is hidden under the roof. Despite sharing transformation schemes, there are plenty of different molds, featuring both licensed and unlicensed approximations of cars. Starting with Wave 1, the first figure in the series is Age of Extinction Optimus Prime, sporting a movie-accurate look, though obviously with super chubby proportions. Age of Extinction Bumblebee is similar. This is probably the most I'll ever like that design. Lockdown's movie design also got a Q Transformer. He is still so ugly. Crosshairs was the last of the Age of Extinction guys. Starting with Sideswipe, the rest of the line is mostly G1 inspired. Prowl was the next release, and he was followed by Rodimus, who has a car mode rather than his Space Winnebago look. And the final Wave 1 figure was G1 Bumblebee, who turns into a cute little sports car. It's funny to me that Bumblebee was the OG Choro-Q Transformer, but this version is just a totally different car mode. Wave 2 featured 2 figures. One is Optimus Prime based on his Alternity design. This mold would be repainted for a special event. And the other figure is Wheeljack, who looks absolutely adorable. I really love this one. Wave 3 starts with Jazz, who has a way different alt mode than G1. He kinda looks weird. Sunstreaker is also there, and Red Alert would be the next figure, a repaint of Sideswipe. Finally, Smokescreen rounds out the wave. Wave 4 featured Hound, sporting an SUV mode, which is interesting, and the other Wave 4 figure is Bluestreak, which is based on his Alternators figure. Check out my previous Transformers toy line retrospective for more info on that. Wave 5 featured a slick Nemesis Prime repaint. Always gotta love an evil Optimus. The wave also had a G1 version of Optimus. This guy is absolutely adorable. I love his boxy shape, and I love that he transforms into a truck and trailer just like the first Choro-Q Optimus. Megatron rounded off Wave 5. Instead of a gun, he transforms into a Lambo. Small but still menacing. Wave 6 featured 2 figures, first being Skids, who is rocking a lighter shade of blue than usual, and Drift, who seems to be taking cues from both his comic and movie incarnations. Thanks to JP fans, I have all of Wave 7 to show you. These are actually the cartoon versions of Optimus, Bumblebee, and Lockdown, each remolded to have cartoon-accurate heads. And Lockdown has a deco inspired by his original animated look. I'm really impressed by Bumblebee's head, which has a little molded Autobot logo. These guys are endlessly fun to mess around with, though I do have a couple issues with Prime. He has a peg that gets in the way of his arm articulation, clashing with his backpack kibble. Also, all of the Q Transformers use ball joints for their legs, so unfortunately you'll run into loose joints here and there, though they generally seem to stand fine despite this issue. After watching the cartoon, I'm really glad to have these 3. I can just imagine them commentating and joking about my collection room. Wave 8 featured Shockwave. He's adorable, but I'm surprised he turns into a black car rather than a purple one. The next figure I also own, I got this Soundwave from the last day of TFCon. He was $20 discounted from $40, so I was pretty happy with that price. And he was my first exposure to the line. I really dig his look. His hood is a gray color to mimic his G1 chest window, and the wheels have a tasteful yellow trim. I love his angy little face. The vehicle mode is a pudgy GTR, and it even has a teeny tiny printed logo on the back. Cliff Jumper rounded off Wave 8. Of course, he's a repaint of Bumblebee. Wave 9 featured the Seeker Trio. Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker all share a new jet mold. They're so adorable and fat looking. Just chubby little bullies. Wave 10 featured Just Trax, who was supposed to come out earlier but had a late release. But we love Trax in this house. Finally for this series we have Wave 11, which I also have in hand thanks to JP fans. This wave featured 2 repaints, the first being Black Megatron. The deco on this guy is awesome. He has bespoke red paint detailing the toy, and he even has a tiny Lambo logo on the hood. The final figure is Black Optimus Prime, though obviously he's meant to be Nemesis Prime. This guy is amazing. I love the mold so much, and the paint is excellent. The teal trim on his windows is so cleanly applied, and he's just utterly adorable in both modes. While the first Q Transformers series ended in 2015, a second line called the QTF Series would release in 2016. This is much the same as the first series, with several re-releases in Wave 1. We're going to discuss only the new figures. First being Ultra Magnus, which is an awesome retool of the Optimus mold, giving him his little arm missiles. He looks a bit goofy in robot mode, but I still think he's really cool. RC also got a figure which is awesome. She turns into a pink little sports car. Ironhide is so freaking cute. Look at that frown, why is he so grumpy? Jetfire is a retool of the Starscream mold. Again, this mold is just adorable. Wave 2 only had one new figure, Ratchet, who is of course a repaint of Ironhide. This is a Ratchet of Joy and Happiness. A Grimlock toy was planned, but was sadly cancelled, so that's more or less the entire Q Transformers line. But wait, there's more. In addition to the normal series, there was also the Q collaboration line. This line launched in 2015 with a new mold for Hello Kitty. Her alternate mode is designed to look like Prime's truck mode. She also had a Halloween repaint. Every Q collaboration figure uses this mold for whatever reason. Hello Kitty's friend My Melody also got a Q collab figure. There was a 3-figure Evangelion set released, featuring Eva Units 00, 01, and 02. Unit 01 also got an Awakened version repaint. The Japanese cartoon Kami Usagi Rope got 2 figures, one being the main character Rope, and the other being Akira Senpai. Finally, they made freaking Snoopy, which I have thanks to JP Fans. I scored this guy for 17 bucks on Mercari. His alt mode is designed so the trailer of the truck looks like Snoopy's house, and in robot mode he's so fat and adorable. I like that they printed Woodstock on his kibble, that's a really nice detail. Overall, the mini crossovers of Choro-Q and Transformers have been awesome. The Q Transformers line in particular is incredible, and I'm sure the two brands will always have some connection. Thanks for watching, and thanks to JP Fans for sponsoring this video. Check out my link to sign up and get coupons, and be sure to redeem code DUMBJAKE for that 20% shipping discount coupon. Alright y'all, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.